All right, so when you hear the word patent, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's probably some kind of legal shield, that thing you get after all the real work, the inventing, is already finished. But what if that's completely backward? Today, we're going to look at a whole different playbook, one where patents aren't the finish line, but the actual starting block for smarter, more powerful innovation.
So let's get right to it. If they're not just for the end of the process, when is the right time to start thinking about patents? I mean, at what point in that messy, creative, and sometimes chaotic journey of R&D should they even be on your radar?
Well, the common answer, the one we all kind of default to, is pretty obvious. After you've had your big breakthrough, you invent the thing, then you go protect it. Makes sense, right? But here's the problem with that logic. It's like buying a brand new expensive lock for your door after you've already been robbed. Sure, it feels like you're doing something, but the damage is already done. Waiting until the end is purely defensive, and this is a game that's won on offense. You're just reacting instead of really strategizing. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to bust that huge misconception wide open. Then, we're going to walk through the life of an idea and see how patents can act as your roadmap, the fuel for your R&D engine, the magic that turns an idea into a real asset, and finally, how they build a competitive edge that actually lasts. Sound good? Let's dive in. Okay, so the very first thing we have to do is make a fundamental mind shift. This is all about learning to see patents not as some boring legal chore, but as a core strategic part of your innovation process itself. And this little chart just lays it out perfectly. The old view, it's all defensive, a shield, a legal afterthought, basically just a cost on a spreadsheet. But the strategic view, the one we're talking about today, reframes the whole thing. It becomes a proactive tool, an actual guide for your R&D, and a valuable business asset. And trust me, that shift in thinking is a total game changer. So let's jump to the very beginning of the whole R&D process. How on earth can a patent guide you before you've even really started your research? It sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? Well, the key is a little something called a prior art review. Now, this is not just about lawyers checking boxes for legal conflicts. Think of it more like market intelligence on steroids. By digging into public patent databases, you're essentially getting a treasure map of the entire technology landscape.
So what does this process really do for you? Well, it gives you a massive strategic advantage. By searching what's already out there, you can spot the gaps, the real opportunities that nobody else has filled yet. It stops you from wasting a ton of time and money reinventing the wheel. And of course, it helps you steer clear of messy legal battles down the road. It basically lights up a clear, safe path for your innovation. Okay, so you've got your roadmap. Now you're in it. You're in the thick of development. This is where patents stop being a future goal and start acting like high-octane fuel for your R&D engine, right now, in the moment.
I mean, think about it. For starters, an idea that's patent pending is way, way more attractive to investors. It also forces your team to really nail down their technical goals, which helps prevent different teams from accidentally working on the same problem, and it lets you collaborate with outside partners without giving away the secret sauce. All of this helps build a culture where new ideas are actually valued and protected. And just look at the difference it makes in real terms. An idea on its own is great, but it's just an idea. An idea with a patent application attached, whoa, that sends a powerful signal to investors that what you have is unique, it's valuable, and most importantly, it's protected. It takes a huge amount of risk off the table for them and sends their confidence through the roof. So, you've done it. You've had the breakthrough. Now we get to the moment where the patent process does its most famous job, turning all of your brilliant work into a protected, tangible asset. Without a patent, your great idea is just vulnerable. Anyone can copy it, and it's really hard to put a dollar value on it. But with a patent, everything changes. It's now protected, you have exclusive rights, it now has a tangible value you can put on a balance sheet. It's not just an idea anymore, it's property, plain and simple. And we're not talking about short-term protection, we're talking about 20 years. That's 2 full decades where you have the exclusive rights to turn your invention into a business, to build a market, and to grow, all without worrying that a copycat is going to swoop in and steal all your hard work. And all of this brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, how a consistent patent strategy builds a powerful, long-term competitive advantage. This is where we stop playing checkers and start playing chess. You know, there's a line from the source material that just nails this idea perfectly. It says,
A good idea can attract attention. A patented idea can hold a market. And that's really it, isn't it? Lots of people have good ideas, but the ability to protect that idea is what lets you actually own your space in the market. So let's just see how this long game plays out. Year 1, you filed a patent, and that helps you get funding. By year 5, you've launched your product, and you can legally block competitors from copying you. By year 10, you might be licensing that same technology to other companies, creating a whole new revenue stream. And by year 20, you're using that original IP as the foundation for your next big thing. See that? It's value that just keeps compounding on itself. So when you really commit to playing this long game, the benefits are just massive. You're not just protecting one invention, you're creating a sustainable competitive advantage. You're increasing the entire valuation of your business, and you're building a true culture of innovation that guides everything you do next. And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. It's time to stop thinking about patents as the certificate you hang on the wall when you're done. They're not the end point. They are the toolkit you use from day one to innovate with purpose, with focus, and with intention. So I guess the question I want to leave you with is this. When you look at your own work, is your innovation strategy just about coming up with the next great idea, or is it truly built to last? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.